And then back on the air, the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online here all the way. Got some great stuff coming up for you. And I usually have to do an early ID on my 9-foot signal so that we're back on the air here on Spreaker and be able to broadcast. And, just do that. Got a lot of really good stuff coming up this hour. Weather on the 5's coming up very shortly from Weather Nation. And we're going to do that. And then after the top of 4, I'm going to have another, we're just going to do no newscast. This is a freestyle show. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a scroll through social media and have news throughout the show because this is GJRB's original news talk program, the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. And, this is where it happens. This is it. And thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for listening to GJRB Online here on Spreaker. And, this is where we have it here. And we're going to do weather on the 5s here in just about a minute or so here, probably here. So let's just start that early. And I'm going to pop in the Weather Nation. So I'm going to do that. And see what we got here. I'm going to pop out that. And I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to pop out of that and go into Weather Nation for our weather on the 5s, because there's some stuff going on in weather, especially, like I said, to the north of us and people listening in Minnesota. We are getting some interesting weather there, and we're going to join them with our weather on the 5s this time around. It's 67 degrees here in Clinton, Iowa. It's predicted 65, and we'll take a look at some of that flooding situation. But first, here is Weather Nation.
Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, so Cheyenne, hold on to your horses with temperatures in the 30s, dropping to the teens overnight with blowing and drifting snow. Let's go down to Denver, Colorado. We're even into our southwest region, Matt. Some folks are going to have to contend with these blizzard conditions as well.
They are, namely Denver, Colorado. Such a nice day today here on Tuesday. It's actually nice and warm, a lot of sunshine, some cloud cover starting to spill over the Rocky Mountains, but overall, really nice there in the Mile High City. Yeah, you fast forward 24 hours from now, Denver is going to look nothing like that. It's going to be colder, breezier, wet with rain, changing over into potentially a decent amount of snow and blizzard conditions by Wednesday night in through Thursday morning. It's going to be a mess in Denver. So here are the headlines. Blizzard warnings are up. I'll show you those in a second. Also, thanks to all the winds and certainly some dry conditions in other parts of the region, we now have fire danger going out there. So I'll show you where that is. And then a big time cool down that's on the way once this system slides off to the east. So here's the setup for Wednesday. Cold air comes in right here on top of the low pressure cell. So it is winter mix here. And then down to the south, we're looking at showers, rain showers, thunderstorms, and potentially severe weather as well. But back off to the west, portions of the Four Corners under blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories tomorrow in through Friday. So blizzard warnings are up for Denver, up I-25 through Cheyenne. And then you start looking west of Denver into the mountains where it's not going to be quite as windy. Still a lot of snow, though. Winter storm warnings are up and also winter weather advisories all the way down to towns like Durango and the San Juan Mountains, Million Dollar Highway, Highway 550, Durango, Silverton, Uray. That is going to be a treacherous drive Wednesday and Thursday. And then even back to the west of that, winter storm warnings up for the mountains of the Wasatch in through Utah, Salt Lake City. For the most part, it'll stay just rainfall for you. But we could see easily a foot of snow here in the Wasatch, a foot of snow out across the Colorado Rockies. Denver, it's still a big question mark. The forecasts are vacillating and oscillating just a little bit. But right now, some forecasts are going for 3 to 5. Others are saying 4 to 8 inches. Denver, of course, different elevations are going to get different amounts of snow as well. Okay, wind alerts. These are up too, so we'll throw this on top of everything else. Winds through Wednesday, southwest, 30 to 50, gusting to 60. Out across Colorado, portions of New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, back across Nevada. Nevada, all the way in through Southern California. And with that, we've got the fire danger, portions of Colorado, right along the Front Range, almost all of New Mexico, portions of Texas, and then Phoenix southward through Tucson. Please refrain from doing any sort of outdoor burning until the winds calm down. Now, it's pretty warm out there. Tuesday, observed highs in Denver about 76 and 95 in Phoenix. Overnight lows on Wednesday morning. Not bad. Denver 46, Phoenix 62. But once we get behind this, temperatures in Denver are going to plummet into the 20s and 30s. Some locations in Denver down to about 23 degrees. Then here comes the start of the snow Tuesday night in Utah. It'll really build in throughout the day on Wednesday, and by Wednesday night, blizzard conditions in Denver. We are all over this storm. Keep it.
And they're talking about that storm pretty wild, especially north of us in Denver, Colorado. We'll take a look at some of those areas and temperatures later on next hour here on GJRB Online as we bring you weather on the fives. 55 minutes past the hour right here on GJRB Online on Spreaker across America. The Gary Russen program. Always glad you can listen. Hope we can get some listeners out there. We already had 1 like and 3 hits on our program in the first. I'm hoping maybe we can get some listeners in that hour. Then we need to get some hits. If we're getting 3 hits in the last half hour, we should be getting more. So I'm posting, and whenever I can, and what I'm trying to do is the new system where I sometimes might say the same phrases over and over again. That's because I'm copy pasting. It's just so much easier to do that when I'm on the air live. If I could copy paste and be able to, get all the message out there. Well, anyhow, just one of those things. Let me see. Again, let's see. Where is this? I don't want to close that, do I? No, I don't. I have to leave my soundboard up when I'm on the air live because I sometimes will not hear what I'm playing because my Spreaker thing doesn't go up. So I'm going to try it again. There we go. It's a little past 4 o'clock, actually. 4 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time. 5 o'clock in the East. 2 o'clock Pacific. You are listening to GJRB Online on Spreaker from Clinton, Iowa. And this is the Gary Russen program. And glad you could be with me this afternoon. And we start our show with news on our freestyle show, but after that, it's pretty much fly at the seat of my pants. Whatever we find, whatever news stories we find, whatever, just that stuff. But here's an interesting news story. I just saw this posted in my email from Yahoo, so I'm gonna pop into this. This is an interesting story. I just saw this posted in my email, and it was a 6th grader out of Long Island, New York, who chose to highlight President Trump for a class project about student heroes, but claims her teacher tried to talk her out of it. Well, of course. This, according to the daily pop culture news delivered to your inbox for Yahoo newsletter, Bella, and I say it's pronounced Moscato, told News 12 Long Island that her teacher in Samoset Middle School in Ronkonkoma, Lake Ronkonkoma, New York, suggested she pick up another hero. Yeah, because she wanted to she wanted to do this. And, this figures. This doesn't surprise me in the least. Quoting her, she said that she wasn't allowed to do Donald Trump because he spreads negativity and says bad stuff about women. 11-year-old girl said to News 12. The news station showed her quote, "What is a hero to you?" unquote report in which the middle school wrote, "Donald Trump has helped millions of people by creating a great economy. He is fighting every day to protect the people from thugs crossing the border. And she said she was okay with someone doing Barack Obama, but not okay with me doing Donald Trump. See, this is the old double standard. Moscato told Channel 12 there that that's what got me angry. So she's kind of irate about it. I don't blame her. She's not alone. Her dad, Arthur, told the school board members at a meeting last week that he was incensed over the alleged incident. And he and his wife, Valerie, are demanding an apology and likening the situation to censorship. So again, this is censorship again. And I was listening to Todd Starnes before airtime here, and a very interesting thing he said is that you cannot trust the public school system to give your kids quality, valued education, or teaching kids values. And I agree with him on that one, because what's going on here is that we have, if you don't agree with what if you don't agree with what's if you have an alternate opinion of the left, you are shunned, you are brought down, you are racist, you are this is continuing, folks. And of course, this is the what really is supposed to happen according to the Bible. If you stand up for Christ, if you stand up for good and moral values, you are you're called name. Now, see, and I've said it already, because I've been guilty of the name calling myself, because I've called liberals everything in the page. I've called liberals everything in the book. And I got to tell you, it doesn't really. That's the way it is. It doesn't really solve anything. It really doesn't. And it's just it. And there's a posting here Facebook about an hour or so by my friend Stephen Mucha, a long article here about Barack Obama, former president. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's a long list of stuff here, but I don't know. Somebody wrote this, Carol Clind, CLINDT, with Richard. And this was on from April 6th at 8:51 a.m. I want to shake the guy's hand that wrote this. Have you ever seen a Muslim hospital? Have you ever heard a Muslim orchestra? Have you seen a Muslim band march in a parade? Have you witnessed a Muslim charity? Have you shaken hands with a Muslim Girl Scout? Have you seen a Muslim candy striper? The answer is no, you have not. Just ask yourself why. Barack Obama, during the Cairo speech, said, I know too that Islam has always been a part of American history. An American citizen's response, this is good. And I have to read this all the way through. It's a long letter. But I posted at the end of it, I can't stand this man. He was the worst president this country has ever had. Stephen Mucha posted back to me. That's what I said. I swear he was trying to ruin this country on purpose, and looking at the aftermath, I have to say he pretty much did. And if he isn't one of the Antichrist, he is a cousin or something. Well, Stephen, and I don't know if you listen to this program, and it would be great if you do tune in. I mean, I will post you this show so you can listen to it. But he's not the Antichrist, but he is paving the way. Our pastor has said this a number of times. He is one of the many who are the Pope, and I'm not going to say too much more about that. But we have been talking about this in our Bible studies last week, that there is what they call false prophet. And this false prophet, one of them is the Pope. And, we were talking about this last week. And as a matter of fact, since I had forgotten my voice recorder last week, I kind of behind on uploads. I have a Bible study from last week, which I have not uploaded yet. I will be working on that one. And I am a little behind on that. So, be patient with me, folks. I'm telling you, sometimes I just have a lot of stuff going on, and I don't always have time to really get all of my posts up, and I try to get them up. I have to upload that one, and last week's last 7 days needs to be uploaded. We will get that uploaded. Thursday, we moved our last 7 days. We used to have it at the Burger King on 2nd Street, and it was just too noisy up there. It would get crazy noisy, and now we have moved it in a new location now at the Church of Christ. So we are at a quieter place to do the Bible studies in the last 7 days, which is kind of good because then the voices all get picked up, and with the music playing at the restaurant, the Burger King, it was noisy. You couldn't hear everybody's opinions. You couldn't hear anybody too much because of the music in the background from the loudspeakers. And a lot of those last 7 days are good, and you can hear just about everybody. But now that we are at the Church of Christ, it's going to be a whole lot quieter. So you're going to hear everybody's voice, which is real good. And let's hope that we'll have better shows from there. All right, let's continue on with the news. You are listening to the Gary Russen program on GGRB Online. If you like the program, hit that like button. Always appreciate it. This hour, we're going to do a part 1 of that series. Now, already there is one on there that was from Ed Delgado, the caramel conservative, that he did past couple of weeks on AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez being the actress, and we're going to probably play those little bits and pieces because it's kind of interesting. But if you want to hear the full one, all you'd have to do is go into the YouTube and subscribe to the Mike Reagan channel. That's the Mike Reagan YouTube channel, and it's very good. I'm going to play some of it, but I'm not going to play all of it. Because it's already been played on a couple of podcasts, so I'm just going to play bits and pieces of interesting information on that. Meanwhile, the Trump administration and its defenders in Congress argue that the Democrats are breaking the rules in seeking the president's private tax information. Jay Sekulow, one of President Trump's private attorney, said Sunday to ABC News, quote, we should not be in the situation where individual private tax returns are used for political purposes. He said that to This Week with George Stephanopoulos. And here's more on that. Let's see what this video has to offer. music. So let's bring that down to the very beginning. Maybe there'll be some sound bites in there. Breaking the rules. Of course, like I said, the Democrats, they have to, again, cause issues. And they're doing it again. And like I said, Trump, the Dems cannot request him to put out his tax returns. Republicans and Trump administration officials are saying that Democrats are breaking the rules by asking him to do this and requesting the president's tax returns. We should not be in a situation where an individual private tax returns are used for political purposes. And I've mentioned that before. What do you think of that one? When you have people in Congress, political reasons are trying to get access to someone's tax returns. The Republicans used the private tax returns for political purposes not long ago. And in 2013, Republicans thought the IRS under President Obama was mistreating conservatives, and groups wanted to be recognized as tax-exempt nonprofits. Congress has the power to ask for copies of anyone's tax returns thanks to a 1924 deal. I want to see, because that's just video with probably the same thing that's in this article. Here is something here. Accusing Democrats of having political as opposed to legitimate oversight reasons for wanting to see Trump's tax returns, the GOP's main talking points these days. Let's take a look and check this out. Okay, let's see if there's anything on this one. This is
President Trump have been vying for his tax returns for years, but congressional lawmakers aren't the only ones making plays for those financial records.
They know the terms under law by which the IRS can give them the documents, but political hit job is not one of those reasons. So they know they're not.
To be clear, you believe Democrats will never see the president's tax returns?
Oh, no, never. No, nor should they.
Democrats took control of the House in January, thereby taking control of what the House investigates. Representative Richard Neal, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, formally asked the IRS for 6 years of President Trump's personal and business tax returns. The House Oversight Committee, led by Representative Elijah Cummings, is trying to get 10 years of financial records from an accounting firm tied to the president. That request asks for both personal and business records. Individual states are also looking at ways to publish the financial information of prospective presidents. More than a dozen states are considering legislation that would require presidential candidates to release their tax returns. The details of the bills vary, but each one would make publicly releasing tax returns mandatory in order to be listed on the state's ballots. State lawmakers in New York are taking a slightly different tack. A bill there would aim to allow New York officials to release an individual or business's state tax returns as part of a legislative investigation. The key difference here is the bill is focused on the state return, not the federal return. And in the case of President Trump, who lived much of his life based in New York, his state return is likely to contain a lot of the details people are so curious about. The effort from the House Ways and Means Committee might have the best chance of actually getting the president's returns. Neal used a little-known tax law to make his request, and that law does not include any situations that would allow Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin to refuse it. But all of these efforts could face court challenges from any candidate who, like President Trump, doesn't want to release their returns.
And that's from Newsy. So I don't know. That one is interesting. It's been a fight for so long. By the way, I want to say hi to Ed Delgado, who's out there in the chat room. He's working on some stuff and listening, and I know you're working on your show for tonight. You got to be working. That's probably what you're doing. Getting your show prep done for the Caramel Conservative program tonight at 8:30. It ought to be a good one. But I was talking about AOC earlier. I didn't listen to part 2 yet, but I was really kind of getting into part 1 still, and I got to tell you, it just the whole thing with AOC. I just believe it. I'm sorry, I just do. I think that whole thing is definitely believable. She's just an actress playing the part, and they're going to bring. That's how they're going to take over this country. I just see it. Really do. It's in the writing. The writing's on the wall there. But I thought about playing it on the air, but you've already played it once already, so I don't know if I'm going to play it. I was going to. You played it, and I was listening to it, but then I've been watching the Mike Reagan videos on YouTube, and I'm directing a lot of people to do the same because this gets interesting. But what do you think of the fact that they're making Trump pull out his tax returns? I mean, really, what's up with that? I mean, it's crazy. It just is. Your thoughts on that? You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and you're on Spreaker across America. And I hope you're listening to the program. I hope you're enjoying the show. You want to get on it? You want to call the show? You'd love to hear from you. I'm going to... Oh, by the way, I should do that. I haven't pulled that up yet. That is my Skype, which I usually try to get up before I go on the air. But no one ever calls me on that. So I don't know. It doesn't make no difference whether I put it up or not. I just do, but... So it's Gary.Russen on Skype. If you want to call me on Messenger, you could do that. That's always a great place to call. Messenger, and hit that call button, and it'll ring in the Spreaker Studios, and we'll put you on the radio. And show's available on Skype. So you want to get on the act? I'd love to hear from you. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker and across America. We'll take a look at some of the national weather here coming up on Weather on the Fives. And after 4:30, we'll do. We'll probably going to try to do in around there 50 minutes of nonstop continuous talk here on GJRB Online, where I just kind of, no promo breaks, no nothing. Just going to go straight on through and talk and play music and see if we can gather some people in here to make it more interesting. Definitely. But I'm glad that it is with us listening to the show. And I've got some more interesting news. And I forgot to put in that scroll through social media, which is a segment that I do, where I go into Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all those places. And we're going to do that. Just kind of fooling around today. It's not really that much of a tight show because I really didn't get that much time and really prepping like I usually do. I mean, I can't really do that as great a show as Ed's. I mean, he's got it together, man. So I just kind of rally around and just kind of fly at the seat of my pants here and just do all kinds of stuff. Just have fun with it, because, this is just my show, my station, and if I want to just go off a beaten track and do stuff, because I just don't have time to do all my features, I just kind of throw them in whatever. Because this is the first show I've done in quite some time, and I'm kind of out of practice. And prepping has been one of those things I've been out of practice because, like I said, I've had so much going on. I just don't have time to really prep a good show. I've been wanting to get back to doing tighter programs, and some days I do what I call tighter shows with wall-to-wall news, but I haven't been there. So it's just something I got to work on. Anyway. Just keep it on and finding more news stories to talk about here. We'll do a sports page coming up, too, on the other side of the break. Got some sports we're going to talk about. And do various things like that just to make this show interesting, and play some music along the way just because I like to. And, every once in a while I overplay my promos to an extent. So sometimes what I will always do is I've been doing that, Ed. I listen to your show, and I know you usually play music during your breaks, which every once in a while that's what I tend on doing, because I need to change my promos a little bit. So, especially since a lot of my shows are going to go off for a while. Some of the promos I have for them are going to also go off too. So there's going to probably be more music during my breaks than I used to do. So I'm going to... I got a lot of really good music. Well, I play some of the stuff here off my Spreaker public site, off my Spreaker consoles, because some of them aren't bad. Some of them are pretty good. I like some of them. And so sometimes I'll just throw something on from some of my main favorites in the jazz category, and do it that way through a break. And then I'm going to come back. I've got a lot more stuff to talk about, and you're invited to join in the program. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you, and we can talk about all kinds of interesting things, and just have some fun here on GJRB, the Gary Russen program. Back on the air after a long absence. It's been like forever. Like I said, I had snow on the ground the last time I did this show in the afternoon, and I kind of gave it a little break for a while because I just haven't, had time to really prep for a show like this. And I love doing this talk show. It's just when I'm me, myself, and I doing the show, and not much in response category. Usually what I'll end up doing is just wall-to-wall news, or I just do freestyle stuff, just to make it interesting, So anyhow, glad you could be with me, the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Let's go to weather on the 5s. Right now, I'll take a look at some of the temperatures in certain areas across the country. First, let's take a look at... Louisville, Kentucky right now. 73 degrees right now for you guys in Louisville. 73. Not bad. Sunny. You're kind of where we're at. 75 predicted. And 18% chance of precip. We got winds out of the north-northeast at 8 miles per hour. Here's what your forecast stands for tonight. Partly cloudy, low 48. Tomorrow, 75 degrees under partly sunny skies. Tomorrow night, it'll be 55 degrees. There's a blizzard warning for people in Minnesota. Matter of fact, Minnesota's warning for Big Stone and Traverse counties expiring at 1 o'clock p.m. on Friday. So Minnesota is in for some pretty nasty weather, and I'm looking at that weather map right now. Minnesota under a lot of pink there. That doesn't look too good. Let's take a look at Memphis, Tennessee right now, though. You guys are 79 degrees for expected high today under sunshiny skies. Almost 80 for Memphis. Tonight, 57 degrees under clear skies. Tomorrow, 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies for Memphis, Tennessee. And let's see what we got here. For Memphis, tomorrow, 82. Wow. 79 for Thursday. There's a chance of thunderstorms predicted for you guys. Nighttime lows to 64 on Wednesday and 50 degrees on Thursday. Miami, Florida, right now, you are partly clear, cloudy skies and 75 degrees. And it feels like that. 75 degrees, 82 predicted high today. Your winds out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure is at 29.83 inches. And your dew point 72, relative humidity at 90%. And for Miami, here's your weather forecast tonight. 73 degrees under and a chance of showers. Tomorrow, more rain, the chance of thunderstorms, but then it's going to be like partly cloudy, partly sunny. 82 degrees for your forecast. Tomorrow night, 72 degrees for the nighttime low. for Miami, Florida. 82 degrees and sunshine, and that is some of your forecast. And again, winter storm watch for people in Minnesota. So at least we're not getting that. Thank goodness for that. I don't know. It'd just be a mess if we get that noise. I'm glad it's staying north. Just really glad. 68 degrees right now in Clinton, Iowa, at our GJRB Spreaker Studios, and that is Weather on the Fives. Weather on the Fives, again, we'll take a look at some more areas coming up. Take a look at some of the areas, and we'll get an update from Weather Nation at around 5 minutes to 5 o'clock. 4:28 right now Central Time, and 5:28 Eastern, and 2:28 Pacific. You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I hope that Ed is still with us, and he wants to participate in that. Love to hear from you, and anybody else who might be just listening out there. We had some listeners in the last half hour, so I'm sure there's some people out there. It's just we just kind of have to boost this show around a little bit more on a lot of the public sites. So we're going to do that, and stay with me for more good stuff here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. It's Freestyle Tuesday, Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and we'll talk about some of the program schedules, and we'll do our What's on Spreaker coming up in the final hour of the program here on GJRB Online. So stay with me. We'll be right back. I got more of the Gary Russen program. Got a lot of really good stuff in the next half hour, so you'll stay with me. And we'll talk about some more interesting things. We'll talk a little bit about AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the actress who is a bartender, and other things. So stay with me. More of the Gary Russen program. Continue. And back on the air, the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Glad you could be with me. Hope you're enjoying the program. Cranking up 50 minutes of nonstop talk now as we continue rolling on with the Gary Russen program. If you want to get in on the act, you can do that. We got 50 minutes of nonstop music and talk. That means right up until about 25 after 5. We're just going to roll on and talk about all kinds of stuff. And you could be part of the program and get in on it. And more scroll through social media, the favorite segment I always feature here on GJRB Online. And do a lot of really neat stuff here to make it interesting here on GJRB Online. Sunshine today. What a beautiful day here in Clinton, Iowa. Some of the people in Minnesota will just come down to Iowa where it's just a little bit warmer. Man, you thought your winter was over with. Not by a long shot. Wow. Couldn't believe that. That's crazy. You're going to get more of that. Winter came back in Minnesota. It just came back. And a lot of people up there are probably frustrated that they're going to get all that snow again. Wow. Think about that. Good grief. I'm telling you what.
Now, let's scroll through social media.
That means we go through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, some of the other ones. By the way, I don't know, Ed. I think that they need to check in that convo. Something is up with that. You have to wonder if somebody's jagging around with them, because all of a sudden it's like I can't get in there. And I used to love to put my programs on there, and I hope they're not mad because I'm putting my programs on there, because all of a sudden, why am I not being able to get in there? That's what I don't understand. That's crazy. But I'm going to put my show, I usually do MeWe, which is a fabulous, another free speech site, and they are real good too. You have a chance to try MeWe. They're good. And they do a lot of really neat stuff too. So, but here in Clinton, Iowa, I was looking at this. This is interesting because we've been having flooding here. As a matter of fact, I had a page here somewhere. I know I'm posting here somewhere now. Here it is. According to Jim Bless, now he's one of our weather guys here in town. I have not seen that. I don't know if that's the marina down on the riverfront, but it's underwater. And the last time I saw that happen was the flood of 1993. And that was a really nasty flood. I remember that well because that was just before I went into the county home, and that was kind of a depressing year for me. I really try not to think about that too much. But at that time, we had that flooding was bad here in Clinton because I remember the railroad tracks being underwater. It was like, wow. Man. And now I guess I haven't seen the marina like that underwater in a long time. And Jim Bless, who is the guy who does the weather in this town, said that most of the river flooding has been caused by ice jams along the river there. There has been quite a mess the past couple of weeks of ice jams along the river there, and really is a mess. They are there's been flooding due to that, and it's been excessive snowfall as a result of it. The Mississippi River has rose in recent weeks, and the ongoing efforts are now to protect the area's homes and infrastructures. Now with river reportedly cresting, locals are now going to look back at the causes of the overall effects of the flood. Floodwaters near Comanche and Albany surrounding and overtaken several homes. roadways and railways. And now the National Weather Service trackers are indicating that the water is cresting roughly 22 feet on Sunday, measuring at about 4:30 p.m. Saturday showed river stages at 21.71 feet, nearly 5 feet above the official flood level of 17. Clinton Area Weather Observer